What is up, people? The internet, it is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video, and today, it is time that we do a quick deep dive into the one primary happening today. That is right, folks, we're finally going to be discussing the Maryland primaries. Now, I know I tend to do election night streams, but for this, I honestly couldn't put myself to stream this election night. It's only one state, and quite frankly, there's only two races that I would consider fascinating. That's not interesting. I don't want to waste your guys' time with that. So tonight, I will not be streaming the Maryland stuff because I kind of find it pointless. But we're still going to be discussing the primaries because there are some fascinating stories to talk about. And the question of the night is, could Republicans win the governorship this fall? And I think it depends. It depends. That's the answer. We'll get to that in a minute. But before we can continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. Also, join the channel. That's right, folks, for just 10 cents a day, you can join the channel and get a good feel in your heart knowing you're supporting real American politics. But also, for just $5 a month, think about this, $5 a month, all right? If you work, that's maybe an hour of your paycheck for a month, all right? You can join the channel and get a shout out at the end of each video. I think it's a good deal. It helps support the channel and, well, you get a good feeling in your heart. So, hope you do join the channel today. Alright, folks, it is time that we do discuss the Maryland gubernatorial election. And there's one other House race I do want to get to. But let's start, of course, with the gubernatorial election. So, obviously, in 2018, Larry Hogan won. It's not a surprise. I mean, he won by 12, though. That was kind of the surprise. It's like, okay, yes, the polling had him up by quite a bit in October, but still, I mean, up by 12 in Maryland. That is an extremely hard thing to do. And this primary has a couple candidates that I don't think any of them could win. I truly don't. I truly think that Larry Hogan, he won because he was a, well-known person in Maryland, and he ran against some, quite frankly, some pretty bad candidates. I mean, when it gets a Bernie bro, this kind of shows you that even in Maryland, Bernie bros, yeah, they don't tend to do well. I don't know what's up with Bernie bros sucking, especially in the Northeast, but it is fascinating. Now, this primary does have a very interesting race. It's essentially a two-person race. Daniel Cox and Kelly Schultz. That's the race. I don't care about the other clowns. They don't have any chances. I mean, one of the candidates, the Democrat nominee for Congress a couple years ago, it's like, okay, that's your race. But there are two candidates that actually do have a shot at winning. So Trump actually got involved in this race. I was shocked. I don't usually talk about these races because it's Maryland. It's like, okay, my opinion is, barring what the Democrats do, you're either going to have a likely Democrat seat or a safe Democrat seat, depending on the candidate. Now, Dan Cox, in my opinion, is better on the issues. I mean, he's endorsed by Trump, Doug Mastriano, etc. And you look at his issues page, it's solid. It is a solid issues page. It's not, like a Doug Mastriano type issues page that's based, right? But it's still a decent issues page that, well, it's pretty good. It is a solid issues page, especially for Maryland. And I think he's going to do, if he is the nominee, he would do better than people expect. But of course, there is one candidate that I do think would do the best of the two, Kelly Schultz. She is essentially the Larry Hogan in this race. Not, as electable in my opinion, but she's endorsed by Hogan. She's endorsed by most people in Maryland. Kind of the Maryland establishment, has supported her. But also, the log cabin Republicans of Maryland. That's, oh boy, that's not good. That's the type of people that are supporting Schultz. And she definitely has a better chance of winning. I'm not saying she doesn't. I mean, she would still win. And would have a better shot of winning, I should say. And her issues page, not terrible. I mean, consider this a Northeastern Republican, you're not going to get much different. I mean, essentially it's, safety in our schools. That's essentially what it is. And it is a decent issues page considering this is the Larry Hogan of this race. She gets a lot of crap by people, especially Trump, but she's not terrible. Obviously, I think Dan Cox is better, but it is what it is no matter what. So, whoever the nominee is, which actually does appear based on polling we do have, obviously this could change. Daniel Cox is ahead by a little bit, so he appears to be ahead slightly. Now, the thing is, Schultz would probably still lose this race, more than likely not, by 8 to 9 points. Dan Cox, a safe margin. It's kind of hard to tell because Maryland down ballot, they usually vote a lot more Republican, but we do gotta see. Now, the fascinating thing, I do think that Republicans could theoretically win this seat, and it all depends who the Democrats pick. That's what I'm waiting for. That's why I'm not making any predictions yet, because it truly does depend who the Democrats pick. I mean, if they go with a Bernie bro, all right, I don't know who the Bernie bro is in this race. I really gotta look more into it. But the Democrats do, in fact, pick a Bernie bro in this race. They're in big trouble. Bernie bros do not perform well in the Northeast for some reasons. Yes, Massachusetts and Vermont. But states like Connecticut, Maryland, etc., they would prefer, a Republican that's slightly center-right, all right? Right-wing, maybe, than a Bernie bro. That's just a fact. So I do think Dan Cox could theoretically win. It's not likely, but it does depend if the Democrats are stupid enough to pick a Bernie bro, which is possible. Again, I don't know who of these are Bernie bros, but I can probably look at the endorsements and see who is the Bernie bro. We just got to see what happens. Again, I don't know enough about the candidates for the Democrats, but what I have heard is it doesn't seem like they're the best of candidates. So Republicans do have a shot here, all right? That's all I'm going to say for now with the governorship. And I hope Cox wins. I mean, I would prefer Cox to win. He's better on the issues, but if you want to win this race against Kelly Schultz, but I do think he theoretically could win. It's much higher than people expect. I give it like a 10-15% shot of, happening, but he could theoretically win it. So that's that for the governor's race. And there is one more race that's actually a bit interesting, in my opinion. So you scroll down here, Maryland 6. Obviously, this is a new seat that Republicans have a shot of winning. There are two candidates that have a shot at winning this primary, all right? I think either way, Republicans will flip this seat. And it's between election Twitter person Matthew Foldy. I'm not kidding you. Matthew Foldy. Election Twitter has already began to run for elections. Just great. Now, he seems okay, but it's like, you see some of this stuff, it's like, crush communist China. It's like the most kind of generic stuff possible. Plus, I've heard some things of some bad people endorse him. Again, I don't know enough about Foldy. I just know he's part of election Twitter, or was, I guess. But we do gotta see what happens here. But he doesn't have a terrible issues page, but I just don't know enough about him. But the one candidate that I do support in this race, I'm not supporting Foldy. I think the other one's just better based on what I do know. Some of you may even know who this is. Neil Parrott. Parrott, whatever. Point is, this guy is a Giga Chad in Maryland. Look, he is a fighter, right? When he was in I think it's called the House of Delegates in Maryland. I don't know exactly. But when he was in the state legislature, he fought like hell for defending marriage. Look up what he did for the gay marriage referendum. He fought like hell over that. And sure, it didn't go the way they wanted, but Maryland only voted for the gay marriage thing by like 5 points. This guy fought like hell against it. And he is good on the issues. I mean, he wants to focus on freedom. He wants to focus on, hey, inflation's killing us. Pro-parent stuff. And it is more in depth. And I just like his past because he was one of the only fighters in Maryland actually doing something. Yes, Hogan did his job with redistricting. That's kind of his big W. But either way, folks, I think Neil Parrott is a better candidate based on what I do know. And I do hope that he does win. I wouldn't be mad with Foldy. I just think Parrott's better based on what I do know. And yeah. Anyways, folks, that's all about Maryland. There really wasn't much to talk about Maryland because, well, it's Maryland. There's only like one Republican seat, one toss-up seat, and the governorship is competitive sometimes. That's about it, folks. If you live in Maryland, get out and vote. I don't care who you vote for. I just, prefer Cox because he's better on the issues, I guess. But I wouldn't be mad if Schultz does end up winning. I think it is useful to still have a Hogan type like in Maryland. Not so much to have a Phil Scott type. There's no point of voting Phil Scott. There's no difference between him and a Democrat. At least Hogan stands his ground and stuff like redistricting. And, is stopping the Democrats from making Maryland even worse. So, there's that. Well, folks, we'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.